What's up guys, this is Josh from KeepItTechie, and today I want to do a quick video showing you guys how to set up a Nginx web server. So as I stated in the intro of the video, I want to show you guys how to set up a Nginx web server. And Nginx is basically one of the most popular web servers that is out there, and it runs on Linux. And it's actually part of the LIMP stack, which LIMP stands for Linux, Nginx, MySQL, or MariaDB, and PHP. Similar to the LAMP stack, which I've done videos on in the past, which stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. But Nginx is another web server. It basically does the exact same thing as Apache. It's just some people think that it runs a little bit better. Some people prefer Nginx. It's supposed to be a little bit more lightweight than Apache, and it can be installed on Ubuntu 20.04 just like Apache. Now, one thing, you can't have both of these applications installed on the same server because they will conflict. They use a lot of the same file structure as far as serving out the website, so they will definitely conflict and won't work properly if you have both of these applications installed. So you either need to choose one or the other, so Apache or Nginx. But today I wanted to go on to show you guys how to install Nginx on Ubuntu 20.04. So let's go on and get started. Okay, cool. So just to make things simple, I went on and SSH'd into my Ubuntu 20.04 server, and this server actually has 8 gigabytes of memory and 4 cores, or 4 processing cores assigned to it. So this virtual machine actually has a little overkill on it for what we're gonna do, which is just basically install Nginx. So let's go on and go through this process. And the first thing you need to do whenever you installing any new software on your Ubuntu server is to update the system. So let's just go down and run those commands right fast. So let's run sudo apt updates, and then let's put the ampersand and then sudo apt upgrade, and then -y, and press enter. And then let's type in our sudo password, and we should be good to go. It'll go through, refresh those repositories, as well as do any upgrades that we need to the system, which I don't suspect there's any upgrades to it. And actually I typed the upgrade portion probably wrong, and yes I did. So let's actually, we don't have to run it because as you can see right here, it says all packages are up to date. But that's pretty much it for that. So let's just go on and install Nginx. And very simple command, just like installing anything on Debian systems or any system that has the apt package manager. It's basically sudo apt install, and the package name is Nginx. And I'll just tab it out and just show you guys that they do have other packages that are associated with Nginx, but this is just the main package. They also have Nginx common, Nginx core, Nginx dock, and Nginx extras, and Nginx full, and then Nginx lite. But we're just going to install the default Nginx package. So, but let's go down and run that install, type Y for yes, for there, and then let's go through this install. And I may cut the video short because sometimes these installations take a long time with VirtualBox, which I really don't like. I wish it was a little bit faster, and I'm actually trying to figure out how to make it faster. I may have to go to another virtualization application, but we'll see, because a lot of times these installs, and they take a long time for me, but it doesn't seem that way on your end because I do a lot of editing and speeding up certain ports, so I can actually hold you guys' attention through the videos without boring you with too many ports that are super long. But this one actually is moving pretty good. This server doesn't have anything on it. I didn't install any type of application when I set up this Ubuntu server. The only thing that's on it is the SSH server. But yeah, this thing is almost done, so we'll wait for that to finish, and boom, So now we have Nginx installed on Ubuntu 20.04. That was very simple to do, right? But it's a few other things that we have to do on the server in order to get it to work properly. And the first thing you want to actually do is adjust the firewall. And I'm not sure if the firewall is actually active on this system, but you always want to make sure your firewall is on. I always turn it on. That's like one of the first things I do when I log into a Ubuntu server that I just built. I turn on the firewall because I know a lot of times in Ubuntu server, for some reason, it does not automatically turn on the firewall, or it's actually not enabled by using UFW, which is what I typically use when managing the firewall on Ubuntu server. So let's just check it out right fast and see if it's on here right fast. So let's go sudo UFW and then let's type status, and this should bring up some information on it. So it's not even active at the moment. So one of the things I like to do is go on and add certain things to the firewall by let's just list them out first. That way you guys can see the actual applications. And I apologize, it's app list. That's one port of UFW. You can list out certain things, and if you look at it, it basically has all the applications that are available for you to activate on the system. And it's two of them that I want to do. I'm gonna go on and just do the HTTP because I'm not gonna install a cert on this server for this demonstration. I just want to go on and use the normal unsecured port, but also what I want to do is activate the OpenSSH option as well. And basically all we're doing is allowing connections to go through those ports. So let's go down and type sudo UFW and then allow, and we can actually just grab it like this. This is what I typically do. I just grab the name, copy it, paste it down here and press enter. And I forgot you have to put it in quotes, so just put it in quotes, the single quote. Just make sure you do that, then press enter, and it'll add that rule to UFW. And then also, since I'm connected to this system SSH, let me go on and add the OpenSSH one as well. So it'll have port 22 open, so when I enable the firewall, I won't lose connection to the server, or I shouldn't use it. And actually, I put a quote in there wrong. Okay, cool. So let's just look at it again, and actually let's enable the firewall now. I may lose my SSH connection, but I should be able to connect right back. And if not, I have the virtual machine open up in another window that'll allow me to change it. So let's just go on and enable it right fast just to see if everything works. So let's go sudo UFW enable and press enter. And then right here, this is a warning, so just be very careful with this thing. Just make sure you have that SSH port open before you enable UFW. Otherwise, you won't be able to log back into the server via SSH, because that port will be blocked once you activate the firewall, which is what I'm about to do. So let's go ahead on and press Y. I'm gonna proceed because I know for a fact that I allowed OpenSSH connection. So sometimes I lose connections, sometimes I don't. But in this case, let's see, hopefully we don't. And cool, if everything went successful, but firewall is active and enabled on your system startup. So that's one cool thing about UFW. You don't have to go into you don't have to use a systemctl command in order to enable the firewall on boot. Whenever you run that command, sudo UFW enable, it'll go through and do all those steps for you. And now if we go to UFW, sudo UFW status again, we should see that it's active, and then it also shows the ports that are open. So we got the Nginx HTTP and the OpenSSH port as well as the IP version 6 versions of that as well, which is fine. So let's go on and move on to the next step, and that's by simply checking that the Nginx server is actually running. We can actually run those systemctl commands for Nginx. Now we could type systemctl And I don't think I need to run sudo in order to check the status. I can't remember. Sometimes I have to type it again. It's fine though. But yeah, and you don't have to, run it as sudo. But like if you're enabling or starting a service, you have to use the sudo command in front of the systemctl command. But since we're just looking at the status, we're not changing anything, it doesn't require sudo. So, and I couldn't remember right off the bat, but Nginx service is actually active and running, so everything is good to go on this server. And then also we could check that the server is good by going to the IP address, and let's find out what the IP address of this server is, which I kind of already know what it is because I set this one statically when I built the virtual machine. So it's 192.168.10.29, and just so you know, I ran the IP space A. And if you have any questions about that command, I did a video on the IP command as well, so check that out in my archives. But that's the IP address for the actual server. And so we can actually open up a browser right fast. So let's pull that up now and go to that IP address on my network. And this is all local, just so you guys know. I'm not going to this from the internet. This is just a local IP address that I'm going to. So, and let me go on and switch the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. But let's go on and type in that IP address, and as you can see, it'll pop up with the screen. It says welcome to Nginx. If you see this page, the Nginx web server is successfully installed and working. Further configuration is required. For online documentation and support, please refer to nginx.org. Commercial support is available at nginx.com. So just some information that they put on there, kind of like Apache. When you first install Apache, you'll get that Apache welcome page with a whole bunch of information about Apache, being installed on the system, and it's up and working. Now that we got it working for sure, let's go on and show you guys where the website files are actually stored. So let's go on and close this or switch back to my terminal. Now, just like in Apache, the files for a website is stored under var www.html. There's a directory that's created when you install Nginx under the var www directory of HTML. So let's go to that now. I'm gonna just ls that directory so you guys can see. But if we ls under that directory, we will see that HTML file that we just opened up. So let's go HTML, or it should be here. I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, that's it right there. That's basically the index.html file. And actually, let's cat it out so you guys can see that that's the HTML. It should be written in HTML. And yep. So it says welcome to Nginx, and all that information that we had in there. But that's where you would put your HTML files. Now, the next thing I want to do is show you guys where the configuration files are for Nginx, and pretty much everything is stored under etc Nginx. So let's go to that directory right fast. So cd etc Nginx, and let's press enter. And if we ls this directory, and I'm gonna ls using the -la option, which is the long listing, and then all, which includes like hidden files and all that stuff. I'm just so used to typing it that way. That's the way I type it. But let's press enter, and that'll list out all the files that are in here. And as you can see, there's a Nginx config. That's your main configuration file for Nginx, and this can be modified to make changes, and most of the changes will be global changes for the Nginx web server. Now, just to show you a few things, let's say you want to set up virtual hosts, kind of like in Apache. And the reason I'm using those terms, because I've been using Apache for so long that I know all the terms for Apache, but they call it virtual host in Apache. Well, with Nginx, they call it server blocks. But it's basically a virtual host or a virtual website location. It's basically the configuration for a specific site, and you can have multiple sites on running off of one server, and what controls that is the actual configuration file for that, which they call in Nginx the server blocks. And actually those server blocks go under the sites available. And that's pretty much similar to Apache, same thing. You just create your configuration for the different sites that you have, and it's pretty much the same format. You just tell it the domain name and then the website's location or the directory for the website where all the files are stored. And then when someone makes a request for that domain, it hits your server after being resolved by DNS. It hits your server, and then your server looks at the request for the domain name and it routes it to the correct folder within Nginx file structure under var www, and then whatever your domain name is, folder, that location is what it'll send back to the request. And similar to Apache, whenever you create a configuration file for a virtual host under sites available, you have to link it to the enabled location so it'll actually start working and serving out that website for you. But anyway, I may do a video just showing you guys how to set up the virtual host on a future date, but it's not that difficult. You can read the documentation. But lastly, I wanted to show you guys another location associated with Nginx, which is the log area. And I just mainly want to show you where it's located. So if we type cd and then var, which is where all your logs are stored, but var log, there is a folder for Nginx that is created when it's installed. And if we press enter there, and let's ls this directory, but you'll see you have an access log and an error log. So you can use both of those if you need to troubleshoot an issue on it. And the access log basically logs every request to the web server. You know, it's logged in that access log file. So if you need to find out who's actually accessing your server, or if you want to use that for statistical information, then that information is under there. And then whenever you get an error, that error is logged in the error log, obviously. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully this video gets you started on actually setting up an Nginx server of your own so you can host out your own websites. I know I kind of covered the basics of it. I probably will go into the server blocks a little more in another video, but this should get you started so you can actually set up your own website or web server using Ubuntu. And also another thing about this, you can actually create you a production server up in the cloud. Like for instance, I host some of my websites from my actual cloud provider, which is Google Cloud. I have my own Ubuntu server up there where I host various websites from, and those servers, you know, I manage on my own, and I have my own website running from those servers up in the cloud. So it's a good idea to kind of practice this stuff locally before you take it out in the real world, because that server, you have to manage it on your own. There is some security features in place provided by Google, but majority of the patching and everything, all that has to be done by you. They just provide the virtual hardware for you. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave comments down in the comment boxes below. And of course, keep it techie.